Hey Damsels, welcome to another episode of Damsels After Dark. If you're new here, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Kristen.
And in our corner of the internet, we rant, review, love on, hate on all things books.
Today we'll be reviewing Phantasma, which is book 1 in the Wicked Games duology by Kaylie Smith.
And if you're new to our episode, the first half we will do a brief synopsis of the story, we'll give our individual ratings, and then towards the end we'll do our favorite part, which is the spoiler section, where we discuss our hated and loved parts of the book.
If you wish to follow along with us, our reading and review schedule will be linked in the description below.
Without further ado,
Let's jump into it.
So Kristen,
Yeah.
what do you think would be your sin of choice? Of your 7 deadly sins? Or
that's in one of my questions.
Is it really?
I put what sin would be your best sin or level, like which level, and what would be your undoing?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I did not even see that in the notes.
It's fine because it practically is the both. Like I would love the lust, but also fail in the lust. Actually, though, when I was thinking about it more, wrath would probably be one where I would probably really give in, because I have a lot of wrath. Lust would be just be fun.
Yeah.
Wrath would be just like relieving.
Same. Well, no, not same, but same. I get it. Like lust would be fun. Like I want it to be that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like mine would be like gluttony or something.
I was about to say gluttony is a really close third.
Yeah.
Gluttony is one of those. I don't feel like greed would be a problem for me. I'm not a greedy person.
Same. I'm not really a greedy person either. And I'm not really wrathful. I'm generally not I'm not lustful in the way that it would be like a sin. You know what I mean? Like it controls my life, like it does some people, like an addiction.
Yeah, it's definitely not for me too. But once you're in the throes of it, it's
yeah.
It's it's hard to get away from.
And also reading all these books and everything, that's where the fun is at. Yeah. It's really so
it's in the fun and the wrath, the lust, and and the gluttony.
And the gluttony. Yeah. I don't know of any of the other ones. Is it sad that I'm trying to think of these via the Kingdom of the Wicked? I'm thinking of okay, so we got envy. Yeah. I don't think that envy is really. I'm not too envious. I mean, of course, you want things, but I'm not it's not controlling a part of my life that would make it a sin.
No, and also envy would always end up coming back to the lust, the gluttony, and the wrath for me. It would end up being part of it, but my main focus would not be the envy part.
No.
It would be I would want to kill that motherfucker because he's what he's doing. You know, it's not really the envy.
And wrath would be driving that.
Wrath would always be driving it. Yeah.
And so I think that mine, if I were being completely honest, it would be sloth and gluttony.
Sloth. I forget about that. It was one of my favorite things.
Yeah. That's the only reason I remembered it, because I harkened back to that book.
But sloth was a different type of sloth. I would have never imagined sloth in the way the Kingdom of the Wicked portrayed them.
Yeah.
Because Kingdom of the Wicked portrayed them as somebody who was still fit, just didn't want to do anything, more so just read and just cozy.
Booky.
Yeah, and I was like,
is that really a sin? Come on.
I mean, not really. Not if you overindulge, which wouldn't it be gluttony if you overindulge in something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess sloth is more of you just don't fucking care.
Lazy.
And you're just lazy about it.
So. I am lazy and I like to eat. Those are two things that define me.
Sloth and gluttony together is all horrible.
Yeah. It's a bad combo. I'll admit it. It's not great.
Combo. And mine is lust and wrath. Oh my god. I'm gonna kick your ass.
It's so funny.
And then be passionate about it.
Okay, Sibby.
I know. That bloodlust is really up there.
Yeah. That's so funny though.
Sibby, oh my god.
I just think of that scene. The one scene where she's
too much.
She's too much.
Yeah, she is. She really is.
When she's having her fun while she killed somebody, it was just next level. I've never read anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
I thought that was where I was going to be the most horrified in books, but then I read Spit and Swallow.
Oh.
And that topped it. I've never imagined being traumatized by a book. That traumatized me. The Sibby thing, Split and Swallow traumatized me.
Yes, definitely Split and Swallow. Oh, they took it to a whole nother level.
It was though hard to detach. It sometimes in my mind, Kingdom of the Wicked and this book.
Yes.
They kind of give off the same vibe, and obviously we're dealing with demons of hell here. We're dealing with themes of hell. The cover kind of looks the same, so I didn't actually know how to feel about Phantasma. And if you are longtime followers of us, or if you're new to us, The first book that we did was the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and we had a lot to say and not a lot of love to pass around for that book.
This one is what Kingdom of the Wicked should have been.
Yes.
It's a better version of Kingdom of the Wicked.
Yes.
10 times better version of Kingdom of the Wicked.
Better all around.
If you were going to have a choice between the two books, definitely put Kingdom of the Wicked in the fire.
Mm-hmm. Directly.
And grab Phantasma. It is definitely... And there's a lot of hype on it. There was a lot of hype on Kingdom of the Wicked, too, which I did not agree with. So I don't know. Also, Kingdom of the Wicked is more towards new adult.
Yeah.
But I've seen it in the young adult section. I'm like, take that the fuck out of the young adult section.
Yeah, because that has some spice in it. Like,
the second book and that third book, definitely spicy. The first book, not so much, but that second and third,
that was the...
Get that off the shelves.
That was the redeeming quality of her books. As weird as it is to say, was the second one. But her smut was good.
Her smut was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
It had me in a chokehold. It's some of my favorite lines are in book 2. Yeah,
and there is a scene in there, an illusion scene that still it lives with me. Like I'll think about it sometimes. It was good.
Yeah, it's good.
She just needs somebody to come in and write her story for her, and then she can come in and put in the spice, and then she will have a perfect book.
That's okay, because we're reading Throne of the Fallen.
We are because of me. Yeah, it's around our anniversary, so I thought it would be great if we picked from the same author we hated on the beginning. But the reason it's drawing me in so much, other than I think it would be fun, is I loved Envy in the books, and this is Envy's book, and it's a standalone, so I'm dragging Kristen with me. Also, I think that it is her first books, the Kingdom of Wicked books, were marked as new adult or young adult, but this one is supposed to be her adult book,
official adult book. Yeah.
So, and I liked her smut, so I'm interested.
I do like her smut. I'm only interested because of the smut. And so hopefully it delivers.
And I think the next one's Lust. So if you happen to kind of like this one,
I do like the Lust part in that book, in that series. Anytime the Lust part came up, he was fucking hilarious. To me. He showed up at the funniest times. So it's like he'd watch.
He did the funniest things.
Yeah, I loved Lust in those books. So.
That's the problem with that book. Not to get too much into it, but the problem with that book is that the concepts were so good. It's just the execution was bad. Yeah. Like the spinoff of these princes that she had, all of these princes being being the ones who were controlling the specific sin of hell was so good. Yeah, it was so great.
It's such a great concept. But this book does for me what Kingdom of the Wicked should have done. So just stay tuned and listen to the spoilers if you are okay with spoilers. If not, don't do that. We will still give you really good background information to this book, so you can decide for yourself if you would like to read it.
Yeah, and then read it, and then come back and watch our spoilers.
Yes, please, because the spoilers are doing it, man. Yeah. When we get into those spoilers, they are great.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to relive a book with a community.
Especially a community that, is really passionate about it, and they're not just sitting here drawing out all the and then this happened, and then this happened.
Yeah,
we're really really passionate about our likes and dislikes for these books. So
sometimes too much. I mean, I know we rant. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah,
that's when my wrath comes in. When I don't like a book, I'll rant the hell out of that book.
I think our time limit for our show increases when we hate a book. It's we'll give these books that we like 30, 45 minutes. Books we hate 145,000 minutes. We gotta edit that shit.
We're literally picking apart. I don't like this, and then she looked at him this way. That was a mistake.
Everything just tweet. I mean, obviously, Kingdom of the Wicked was one of those books.
It was, but that was in our phase 2 though, where we were explaining the entire book. Yeah. So I mean, we really let it all out.
We did. We didn't leave no holds barred.
No, but we've learned to tame it down just a little bit until you get to the spoiler part. Then we let loose a little bit more. But without all that being said, we can jump into the summary of this book. This is touted generally, I think, as a standalone with an additional book that will be her sister's point of view. But the main character in this book is Ophelia. And right off the bat, when we meet our two characters, Genevieve is kind of in it, but she's not a main character. But we meet them together. They've just discovered that their mom has died, and so they're sort of doing a ritual at this moment to help her body pass on, but then also
Relinquish the magic.
For the main character to absorb the magic, because the magic of the family gets passed down through the firstborn, through the heir, as it were. And so after all of this happens, they're dealing with sort of the aftermath of having a parent die. As you do, you're worrying about the estates or things that are happening with this. They get told essentially that their mom owes a great debt, and that they can either get the money for this debt or they can vacate the house. And the main character, Ophelia, is having sort of an existential crisis, deciding how she's going to uphold the foundation of their family when she's about to lose everything. And amidst all of this, her sister goes missing, and there's this random, it's almost like, it's not a carnival, but
it's a games and trials type of
Yeah.
mansion. They call it the Devil's
Manor
or something like that. And games and trials, it comes like every so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a competition. It's well known in the town. People know about it. It's in New Orleans, however you want to say it. But like, it's well known there, and especially I like the setting of it, because it's always got that magical mystery, especially in that area of the States. You know, they always tout it as like voodoo and magic and witches and stuff like that. So it fits into the city, fits into the whole plot line that this manor shows up and they have a games and trial, and whoever wins gets whatever, I think like a one wish or one desire that they get.
The devil grants you your
one wish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anything, pretty much.
And so she finds out that her sister may or may not have entered this competition, and then so she goes into the trials to go look for her sister. Yeah. And then, of course, because she's in the trials, she has to take part in these trials. And in there, she meets some phantom that we learn is stuck in this manor, but he has an issue where he can't get out. But every time a game, he has memories throughout the entire set of trials. But once the game stops, he loses all of his memories, and then he begins again, essentially, the next time the games enter a new part of the city. And so she sets out on a quest to not only help her sister, but then kind of along the way, she decides she'll help him, if she can, unlock the mystery surrounding why he's stuck in this manor, as well.
Yeah. I have to say, there's a lot of content warnings. Definitely adult. It's a dark gothic fantasy. I don't even paranormal, more closer to paranormal than fantasy. So dark gothic paranormal romance. There's lots of sexually explicit content. So for those smut girlies out there, it's there. Promise you. Horror. There definitely is horror. There's gore. In-depth depictions of OCD, which if you have OCD tendencies, like. Okay, that gets me, okay? I was having issues with this fucking book sometimes. I'm like, oh my god, stop that fucking goddamn... I don't want to get too into detail, but it's heavily OCD,
I love it.
Oh my god, intrusive thoughts in this book, too. It's apparent. It's not like a side thing. It's like a heavily, I don't even say sprinkled. It's doused in it. It's marinated in the OCD intrusive tendencies. Yes. So, be ready for that. It's hooey. For those that have those issues, know that this is a problem. I've never read a book with this before, and it really bothered me.
That's so funny, because I had the opposite effect on this.
You're just like, oh my god, knock it off. Like, I'm like, tap that fucking bedpost.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah,
you did? Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah. It gave me anxiety because I felt it. I felt it. I was like, oh my god, she don't fucking tap that.
So trigger for Kristen.
Very big trigger. I never thought. Okay, reading it the second time around didn't bother me so much. Sometimes I was feeling my hands, my palms were itchy. I was like, and she don't fucking hurry up. Okay, so other parts of the complete list of trigger warnings and content warnings, you have to go to the author's website to get all of them, because sometimes they're overlooked for the trigger warnings, something that might impact you but not others. Like some people would even think twice about the OCD being a trigger thing, but for me, it definitely fucking was. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that.
Oh, it was.
I see it now.
Just talking about it, it's like, oh. Also, the second book is going to be released probably right around the time this is going to be aired. It's called Enchantra, and we'll be reviewing that one in the next episode. So definitely pick it up. I think it's free on Kindle Unlimited, both these books. I know there's still controversy on that. So obviously, if you have it, it's available. If not, I think it's like $4.99 or something like that.
Yeah.
The paperback is also. I noticed that if you get a Kindle version, it does not necessarily mean that the paperback is out right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Kindle will release, and then the paperback will be a couple days later. So just both of them will be out. We get ours on Tuesday. My paperback is on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting on both. I didn't know it was gonna be on Kindle Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
Because at the time it wasn't. So I pre-ordered it, and I realized, it's coming in on Tuesday.
That's
so
funny.
yeah, whatever. I got a paperback one of the first one too. So.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I might as well, right?
Yeah.
I wish they would do, depending on how Enchantra comes out. I wish they would do an exclusive because I'll buy that fucking shit.
Oh, I bet you they will.
I hope so.
A lot of people like this book. I think it got pretty good reviews, just generally.
Yeah.
Well, with all that lovely stuff being said, we can jump into our individual ratings. Kristen, do you want to go first this time?
Yes, I love this book. Okay, I just want to say that. However, I gave it a 4.5. I didn't give it a 5 because mostly spoilers. So you'll have to, if you want to know, you'll have to find out for spoilers. But I could give kind of a brief idea why. Ending. The backstory and the ending, you come to find out certain things, and it kind of soured things for me. But that's the only reason. And there was like one scene that that's opinion based, by the way, from all of this, but mostly because there's one scene in particular, a smutty scene, that I did not enjoy. I did not enjoy it. I was mad. I was big mad. I was big bitter about it. So I knocked it down a half a point. I was even contemplating on making it just a 4 for those reasons, but I'm ignoring it, and I'm only knocking it down a half a point. So 4.5 to me, very close, in my opinion, to a 5. It definitely gave me a vibe of a 5, though. Like, I was sitting here reading, I was eating it up. The beginning was kind of slow for me. It wasn't that it was bad. I was just like, okay, this is like same thing I read in most books, you know. But the story had to have a plot line. It had to have a setup. So I wasn't too big mad about it, but I felt like it dragged on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, because I think it was like 50 pages before it really got to the point. Yeah. And I was like, could we just have made this 25? I get it, okay? The manor, the mom, the sister. Get to the fucking MMC, okay? I'm here for the smut, because that's what this book was toted on. Good, dark smut. Gothic smut with games and gore trials. I was like, give me that, okay? I get the setup. You could have just told me in an email.
That's like the best review.
Still my favorite review ever. But yes, 4.5. Overall, this book is great. There are small things that really kind of just like... It's like throughout the book, I'm just like, oh, I love that. I love this. I love that. I love this. So like there's so many parts. I'm going to really have to narrow down in the spoilers what I really enjoyed. I promise you that this book does not disappoint when it comes to the smut, to the tension, to the surprises, the trials. There's like... Okay, I just have to be honest. There's so many levels of floors. I stopped figuring out and counting what each one was. Like I knew there was this, there was limbo, there was lust, there was gluttony, there was greed, and then I'm just like, what level is this? I started writing them down and then just stopped.
See, Kristen, this is why sometimes you just need to be passenger princess. You just need to sit in the seat and let it drive you on. Don't even worry.
Well, I did. I obviously did. Well, because it was listed. The first ones, I was like, okay, I know what trial this is. I just kind of wanted an idea of what I was getting into. I was like being Ophelia. I was like, what level am I getting into? Okay? I kind of wanted to know. But, I mean... At a point, I was just like, she didn't care, and I stopped caring. So, like, yeah, I definitely became passenger princess after a while. The FMC was fucking fantastic, but there were moments, man, and I think you didn't mind those moments. I mind those moments. I was just like, please don't do this. Please don't do this to me. But she did. But also, it wasn't just her, the MMC. They both had those moments where it was the back and forth, push and pull. I don't like that. It drives me crazy. It's that slow burn. It's that slow burn bullshit that absolutely drives me mad. But I don't hate it. It just drives me wild. I don't hate it. It adds to the story. It gives that good storyline. I love it. We're here for that tension. So I was good, but I wanted to strangle them. So yeah, there's my wrath again. I felt panicked a lot of this book because of the OCD and the intrusive thoughts. I was like, girl, stop. Like, she calls it the shadow voice. That's not necessarily a spoiler, but she calls it the shadow voice. It's in her head. It becomes crazy. It becomes too much. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. There was lots of times of that. Also, she's well known as, her family's well known as a necromancer early on in the book. And that's a pretty fucking cool thing.
It is cool.
Every time I've ever played a video game where I could be a necromancer, I'm a fucking necromancer. Shit from the dead, bring it back up. whatever. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Other powers are in play. There's multiple devils. There's multiple ghouls. There's phantoms. It's fucking wonderful. I loved all of that. There's a lot of intrigue into why certain characters are here and there and everywhere. Fucking fantastic. World building is mostly in the manor based. Like, you got New Orleans and all that stuff, but like in the manor is where most of this takes place. It's Phantasma. It's about the game. So yeah, you would think, oh, it's in a manor, it's kind of boring. No, this manor is crazy. It's on a whole different linear plane. So it's fantastic. I love the world building. I love what happens in the manor. There's lots of gore, so obviously I love the gore and the violence. I love it. You wouldn't think there's a whole lot, but if you think about it, you're putting all these people together, and it's dark. What do you think is going to happen? So yeah, it's fucking great. Spice, I give it 3 out of 5. I kind of wanted to give it more. However, considering all the other spice that could have happened in this book, I felt like it was still kind of tame. There was still some moments where it was just like, oh shit, that's cool. Ooh, I like this part. But it was still very tame. There wasn't like a lot of like dark smut. It was more like, there was a moment where there's kind of like, there's blood play. So that should have been in the content warning. But it was still very tame blood play, considering if you were in dark gothic stories, like, this isn't, there's nothing crazy about this. It's very average dark gothic. It's like, if you know, you know. But other than that, the tension, the connection, the push and pull, the passion between them is fantastic. It wasn't boring. I didn't feel like it was repetitive, even when it did kind of dabble in the same things. I still felt that there was elements of surprise in it that kind of just like made it great. Like I said, one ick scene and that was it. And I don't think a lot of people will consider it ick. I consider ick, but not. I don't see how. I don't think everybody would. I think it's a personal preference at this point. But other than that, those are my ratings.
I'll probably be reiterating a lot of the stuff Kristen says, because I also really did enjoy this book. I only gave it a 4 though, and we both have the same reason why, I think. But I'm a romance girly, so the issue that I have with this book is around the romance situation, and because of the issue that I have, which we will discuss later, it knocked it down a whole point for me, because it really kind of, it gave me the ick. Okay, Kristen's ick is different than my ick.
Yeah, we have different icks, but they're there.
But overall,
it's still kind of the same ick, just not as strong.
I like this book a lot. I think the concept is really cool. I like the different layers of the 9 circles of hell that she had to go through. The trials were well thought out and clever, and I thought that they represented each of the layers really well. Because every time I was like, ooh, how are you going to do this? And then when they did this little riddle in the beginning, and then went into the trial, you could see the inspiration behind what sin was attached to this, and I thought it was just so well done. I like the dark themes in this book. This book really, really needed to be an adult book in order to fully convey these dark scenes, and because it did its job. It really delivered on that. One thing that I do have a gripe about this book as well is that I wish that the author would have leaned a little bit heavier on the thriller aspect of this, because I didn't actually feel very scared for the FMC very much, because after she makes a deal, she makes a deal and it's kind of like nothing. I'm not worried for her anymore, and so all of the things that were haunting the other contestants or that were at the necks of the other contestants weren't really affecting her, and so it lost all of that for me. But I think that I would have preferred that the author have kept that thriller element for me, because I'm going to be a little scared in the book. And this was the perfect place to do that. But I think she maybe gets haunted like 1 time or twice.
They're funny too. It's not even scary.
It's not even scary. And it's
pretty fucking hilarious.
I just don't, maybe it was more than that. Now that I'm thinking about the different instances. But I guess overall, I just wasn't scared for her.
No.
And it was more than just because she had plot armor, which of course she did because she's the main character. But I still want to feel the thrill of like, what the house was supposed to do that it never really fully did for her. And so that kind of sucked for me, I thought. Another thing is that I love the man.
Oh, Blackwell is fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Hello. Of course, this is with an asterisk, which we'll talk about, but he's great. I am always about slow burn. I'm an enemies to lovers girly, but I will say that I cannot deny a man who is just right off the gate, like quick with his good banter, and he's all about the girl, like right off the bat, not even trying to hide it. I mean, he was playing kind of coy with it, but like anytime, it's like Elm. Anytime you can insert his little like innuendos in there, he did it, and I like that. And I didn't have there was no enemies to lovers here, but there was a tension building that was here, and like Kristen said, there is a great push and pull between them when sometimes they're on and sometimes they're off, and that was great.
You like it. I was frustrated.
Oh, I loved it. I was like, I was bouncing back and forth
you were swaying in the wind with a smile on your face. I'm sitting there grudging, like, oh.
I was like, ooh, over here now. Ooh, girl, you go do that. Like, I'm here for all of this. I like it. But I like I like that sort of drawn out nonsense.
I know you do.
But
I knew you'd love that.
Yeah, he had the naughtiest little quips that he would just throw in there, and they were so good, and so I like him a lot. I love the main character too. Ophelia is great. She's funny. She holds her own at the trial. She's holding her own against these other contestants. She's holding her own. She's going toe to toe, quip for quip with the dude, and she was funny, calling him out constantly, or like. There would be times where he would be saying something like trying to do an innuendo, and she's like, "You stop that shit right now." She's like, "You be serious right now. This is not funny. Don't tease me right now." Like, I just love the attitude of like, "No, we're not taking your bullshit. I'm not like, I don't know, like a damsel in distress or like swooning over you consistently." She was like, "No, like fuck you," and I really like that about her.
Yeah.
To go off what Kristen said about the OCD sort of phantom in her head. I didn't get the same trigger as Kristen did. I actually love this element of it because it felt unique. I've never read this about another like character before, and it was so intrinsically woven into the story that it never felt forgotten. Like there were times where it was not there, but then it would creep up at a good time, and it would. And I just like I don't have this level of intrusive thoughts, but when I was younger I used to think like this kind of, but it was like for jokes, like it wasn't like seriously a person living in my head, but I'd be like, oh, you better do this before something happens, or a lot of it was like, you better make it home before sundown or something's gonna happen, but it was more of a joke. For her it's not a joke.
No, it's not mine's not a joke either. Mine's like, if you don't put this thing in the sink before you leave, the house is gonna go on fire. I gotta fucking do this.
Yeah, no, mine's a little bit more like how mine was. I don't really deal with any of this, but it was nice in that it was unique to be seeing this through somebody else's eyes. It did get a little bit crazy too when it like turned dark, which I thought was interesting, because before you think it's just this like, oh, you got to tap the wall 3 times before you walk out the door, but then it starts to turn crazy, and I kind of like that aspect of it.
I did too. When that happened, I felt more disconnected to it, and in a good way, because now and there's a reason for it, and it have to be in spoilers, but when it started getting darker and darker, it more felt like it was not attached to her anymore.
Yes.
Because most of these OCD issues, you still feel like it's part of you. You still feel like it's the monster in you. But when it starts to become detached from her, she even points out like this is way more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to get more. I'll get more into that in spoilers.
Yeah. So I did like this. Something super, super unique.
Yes, it is. It definitely is.
And I also gave the spice a 3. The book is not riddled with spice. There is spicy scenes in there, and I think that they serve to sort of push the plot along. Like, they didn't seem like they were thrown in there just for the sake of adding more spice. They were in there in a good spot. I gave it a 3 because I didn't really think that they were all that great. I mean, the problem is that this is coming off of what's that? The fucking the Veiled Kingdom.
Yeah.
And the one after that, the Hunted Heir.
Yeah.
Okay, those are some spice scenes that are still living in my head. So you're giving me this, it feels vanilla to me, because there wasn't anything that was different or extraordinary or anything that I would be like, you have to read this spice. And I don't really generally feel that way about Spice, but there are some Spice I'm like, this is great. This was written well. This is an experience. This wasn't any of that, which was weird because we're dealing with phantoms and devils and ghouls, and I'm in hell, and there's lust, and there's all this. I wish that these scenes would have been spicier.
Yeah.
They're just too vanilla for me. They're too plain Jane. I've read this position before. I've read this scene before.
It's the banter during, or like before and after, and sometimes during. That's what makes it good.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the actual smut itself. It's what's being said.
It's what's being said.
Yeah.
But onto that, I wish that, because he was talking a big game.
He was talking a big game.
And then he went to the bedroom, and the bedroom was fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure for her it was great. Like, he lived up to the expectation.
Yeah, because it was her best.
It was her best after her actual vanilla.
Yeah.
But so, like, when I get to the bedroom and you're not the ghouly, phantomy, demony situation that I want, I was like, okay, all right, you talked a big old game here, but like, I've had better.
It's average book boyfriend stuff. It's like
average.
basic average book boyfriend stuff. There was like a couple scenes that inspired, like, in my opinion, that gothic, dark stuff, but it's not what's being done, it's what's happening around them.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes. That's what made it dark, not the actual act of itself.
Yeah.
When
the smut isn't dark.
No. And I think that was a missed opportunity. Not that I want, like, gross, gory...
I don't either, but I want it to be a little bit more daring.
Especially in a book that's set like this. Like, this smut would have been good in another fantasy book. I wouldn't have complained, but if you're touting this as, you know, great smut, gothic, dark fantasy, then I want to see it in every aspect of this book, and I didn't. I saw it everywhere else, kind of, even though the whatever. I didn't see it here, where I think that it could have benefited from that.
I agree. It's a good thing that the tension was good, because it's all about the tension in this book.
It is all about the banter.
The banter
But
and the tension. When
you have the banter so high and you're because if we break it down just into pure primal terms, the banter is all the foreplay. So if you have all this foreplay and you're building this all up, but then I get to the bedroom and it's vanilla, it's like, all of that, you were talking a lot of game. And so I'm a little disappointed with the smut, which is why I gave it a 3. It's there. It's graphic. I mean, they're telling you what's going on.
It's descriptive.
It's descriptive, yeah. But all in all, it felt very vanilla for me.
Yeah, I was actually waiting for them to finish most of the time. Like, I liked the beginning, and then when it would get to the actual smut, I was just like, okay, can we finish now?
Yeah, I was like,
I get it, yeah.
Oh, he did
it's
that.
It's not bad. I was interested. I was like, okay, cool, but this needs to only be like a paragraph. You know, like, not even, like, I got to the foreplay, you told me, and you could just probably close door this.
You could have closed door.
I'm good with that, like.
Yeah.
But then again, if it did close door, I would probably be like, don't close the door! I want to know what Black Girl's packing with.
Yeah, well, not much. Actually, maybe the mystery would have been better. I don't know.
Yeah, the man himself is fucking great. I mean, there's certain things that he was doing.
Oh,
that's like fantastic.
His mouth was wonderful. His quips were great.
Even a couple of demons were like, yeah, his mouth.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I wish he would have let the beast out fully. Yeah. Or done something a little bit different. Yeah. Like, because we're talking, again, we're harking back to the last books, like, we got a cave scene that was blew my mind. I got this other scene in the next book that blew my mind. Like, those I'm still living with, and so this one, again, I wanted him to be a little bit more crazy, but whatever. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much the Goodreads.
Oh, these are going to be fantastic.
Was right next to us. They got a 4.09. So, right between us. And also, I don't know if you know, but it was a nominee for Reader's Favorite Romantasy.
I nominated it.
That's so funny. Every time I bring these up, Kristen's like, yep, I did that.
I was one of them.
That's funny. And so it was a 4.09 out of 154,632 reviews or ratings.
That's a lot.
Which is a lot. Mm-hmm. And of course, like every episode, if Kristen and I rate it pretty high, we pull the 1-star reviews. And so I did. And man, 2 of you guys got me laughing over here. But I'll read the first one from Mia. And Mia says, "Is this the worst book? No, this is generic and boring, made with zero creativity. Not like other girls with cringe with Insta love. They're giving me MGK and Megan Fox girl bye." I don't know that I agree with the reference, but I appreciate it because I can kind of see that. Like, I don't agree with it, but I could see why you would feel that way if you didn't like the situation.
I don't know if she's a dark romance gothic person, but I feel like if this book had zero creativity, maybe she's into dark. I don't know, but I felt like this was just I get the basicness of it when like we were just talking about earlier. I mean, I get that, but I don't think it was too bad that it would be a 1 star.
Or generic and boring.
Yeah,
like I think
like
the trials were creative.
Yeah, to a certain degree. Yeah, I mean, I guess how you could kind of sense that it was very like similar to other books, but I wouldn't say that it was boring.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
I didn't think it was cringy either, but I don't know. To each their own.
I also don't think there was Insta love. There was probably Insta attraction because he was like ready. He was like, "I like you. Yeah. You're hot," and you're making all those quips.
Insta love.
But I wouldn't say that he loved her. I mean, those aren't the same thing.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
But yeah. So, anyways, yeah, there's that. These two I'm gonna read together because they were fucking funny. Cheeky Nugget says, "I'm not into ghost dick, sorry." And then to follow that up, Alex says, "No, I simply cannot read any more about ghost dick." And I just thought these were really funny because these were not the only ones that I saw that said this. And I was thinking,
then why are you reading this?
Why are you reading this?
It's specifically a phantom fucking a girl. Like it's.
And also, he was not a ghost there was no ghost dick around.
No, he's a phantom.
I was hoping. See, this is what I'm talking about. I wanted more. Like, if he was a phantom, what was he? Why? Where is this phantomness? Show me it. Show me it in the bedroom.
There's only a little bit that he was showing, but it was more so magic than it was being a phantom.
Yeah.
So, but I still, he was not like see-through. He was not when he was messing with her.
He was in his solid form.
He's a human. I don't know how they. I don't know. I didn't see ghost dick type thing in any of this.
No, I would have liked to. Like
the complaint they have is the complaint you wish you had.
Yeah, I wish I saw some ghost dick. I wanted something different, and there was nothing different. It was just regular dick. So, I don't know, guys.
With magic. Sprinkled with magic.
Sprinkled with magic. You know, the good kind, though, where he's, like, snapping clothes off or snapping you into different positions. Like, that was great, but that's
fantastic.
That's not ghost dick.
I dream about that sometimes.
I even like when it happened. She's like, that's convenient.
Yeah, it's very convenient. I got jealous.
Yeah.
There's my envy.
And teen Helen says, DNF at 34%. I can't connect with either FMC or the MMC. They are just so boring. There's also Insta-lust. The FMC is a necromancer, and she has done nothing with those gifts so far, and she is really annoying and stupid at times. Her mom told her not to do some stuff, and then she does all of them anyways. And the only thing the MMC does is being a flirt all the freaking time. No, thank you.
Okay, I love the flirt all the freaking time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I get it. I get if you're not connected with them, don't continue reading.
Yeah.
She made a right choice. She wasn't connected with the book.
And there was Insta-lust, so...
I agree with this. There wasn't Insta-love, but there definitely was Insta-lust. She was 100% right in that.
And I also agree with her that for being a necromancer, she wasn't really the coolest necromancer I've ever heard of. She didn't do a whole lot of anything. There was no summoning of the dead. It would have been cool if she would have, like, summoned an undead army to take over and beat this, war at the end. There was none of that.
I don't know if it's maybe because she didn't have her magic until So right in the beginning, she gets her magic from her mom when she dies. So I don't know if it's because she didn't really have her magic the whole time that she didn't really use it. I'm not quite entirely sure. So.
But her magic was kind of lame. Like when we learn what her magic is,
yeah,
I do agree. Like she is a pretty lame necromancer.
Yeah.
I wish you would have just called her like a witch or something instead of said necromancer.
Agreed. But I think the only reason why they call her necromancer is because of what she can do with the dead.
Yes.
But I still feel like that's kind of lame. You could have used anything.
Yeah, and like...
Could have done anything with that.
She could have actually been doing that, but she wasn't raising the dead. And when they were raising the dead as necromancers, it was not like to take over the world or raise an undead army. It was to like help tourists who wanted them to summon their dead ancestors. Like, that's super fucking lame.
Yeah, and you learned that right in the beginning of the book, so...
Yeah.
It's not a spoiler.
But anyways, I don't think that teen is wrong. Is it teen? Time?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't think that you're wrong. I agree with your stuff here. I guess it just didn't have as much of an impact for me to hate the book.
I'm very good at ignoring things that I just don't feel like impact the book very much. If it's not going to really influence the plot, or if it's going to not have an active influence on anything that I'm like constantly like absorbing, I don't feel like it really. It's just mentioned and I just move on. There's I'm losing half a book of fucking Gleam or whatever one of those gold books are, and I forget the whole epilogue of the last book I just read. So like, if it doesn't necessarily impact the story to where I'm constantly having to see it, and it's just something I can just bypass, I don't really care. So I thoroughly enjoy, because I'm not gonna let it take away from my enjoyment of something.
Yes.
Especially if everything else is so good. That's how I felt. Like, if it was overly constantly in my face and it was driving me crazy, that's one thing. But, like, if it was just, like, here, there, it's like, fuck it, I don't care. I want to just be reading.
Yeah.
I just ignore it.
Yeah.
But there's some things I can't ignore in this book, though, so.
Same. Yep. So with that, yeah, we can move on to our favorite part, which is our spoilers.
I love it.
This is the best. I can't wait. I just copied and pasted sometimes straight up dialogue. Because
agreed. I did the same.
They're great. I don't even want to
I don't know how to narrow this down.
Sum up. Like, I don't want to summarize what they're saying. I just want to give it to you straight.
Yeah, I'm going to try really hard to narrow down a lot of my favorites. I think I already tried to when I was writing it, because it was just a lot. There was so much.
Yeah, there's a lot. Do you want to go first?
Yes, I can. I'm going to try and do my best. Okay, so I enjoyed, right off the bat, that Phantasma takes your greatest fear as payment.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that whole thing. And, of course, Ophelia's greatest fear is all her OCD and intrusive thoughts. I cannot imagine if somebody did that. If I was a contestant in a show and that's what they did and they used it against me, and that's what causes her intrusive thoughts and her OCD to become dark and not feel like a part of her anymore, because it wasn't. It was becoming her. And she's like, I wonder why my greatest fear isn't being used against me. It was being used against her the whole time, just in smaller, getting larger and larger until it just exploded and ended up making her hurt herself. But yeah, I just, that's terrifying. A lot of people ended up going home because of it, like really early on. The bird guy was fucking hilarious to me. I know a guy who's afraid of birds.
An English teacher who was afraid of birds
it's
too.
So funny to me. It's so funny to me. But okay, so one of the very first haunts cracked me up. It was the ghoul in the bathroom.
Yes.
This is right when she like getting ready, and then this fucking ghoul just like freaking out, and it like crawls over to her, and I think there's blood all over the place, and it's like creepily smiling, coming to her. Oh my god, it's fucking disgusting. I couldn't. And she ends up trying to escape, and she summons the door and goes out, and then she realizes later down the road it's like the whispering room or what, I don't know.
Whispering gate.
Yeah. So she goes through it, and then she crashes in the parlor where Blackwell is, and this is their third time meeting officially. And so she lands right next to him, and he's like, what does he say? He's like, wow, that's an entrance or something? I can't fucking remember.
Yeah, something about
that's quite an entrance.
Quite an entrance. Yeah.
And then he asks her, "Did you miss me already?" And he's like drinking, and he's all like put together, and she's always looking
relaxed,
nice.
And she comes crashing down
and
the
he's like,
ceiling.
wow, that's an entrance. That's hilarious to me. She's like disheveled. But yeah, so then they have this whole conversation. I love their whole conversation. And then after the conversation, because he's trying to be like, I can help you find your sister. Why don't we do this blood bond? Blah, blah, blah. She refuses. But I like right after that, because she tries to go back to her room where this ghoul is. She's like, I just got to find my fucking room. So she's trying to go back to her room, and he's following her. She's like, I told you not to fucking follow me. And when he's following her anyways. He's like, well, I want to make sure that you get to your room safe or whatever. So they get back into the room, and the ghoul is still there.
Yeah.
And I love this part because, like, she gets scared, right? And she jumps back into him. And when she jumps back into him, he, like, leans down and, like, whispers in her ear. He's like, watch this. And snaps his fingers, and it's all gone. I was like, oh. That was, like, I was into him kind of, sort of before. But, like, that part is just, like, hoo-wee.
Yeah, I like that.
That's where I started to lust for him.
Yeah, he, also... Just to add on to what you said, when they're walking down the hall and he's following her, she's like, I thought I told you not to follow me. And he's like, I apologize if I gave you the impression that I do what I'm told.
Yeah, I love that.
I was like, ooh, I like him.
That whole part from the parlor all the way up to there, I was starting to love him. But the minute he leaned over, snapped his fingers, I was just like, yeah, I'm into him.
You got me. And that's like right off the bat. Like she's right there. It's like the first day she's there, the second day.
So it's like I get the instant love, I get the instant lust because
Yeah.
I had it.
Same.
So it was easy, but she showed it less than I would have. I would have showed it 100%. I'd have been like, after he said that to me and took care of my problem, I'd have been like, do you want to stay with me tonight? What about that blood bond we gotta do right fucking now?
Yeah. Wait, you were saying bloodbound tethered to each other?
Yeah.
No. Where I just summon you and you just come and save me?
And you tell me those girls who gave it 1 star saying that was instant love was boring to them, you wouldn't fall for that?
Yeah, I don't. I would have. Yep.
You are a stronger willed person than I ever am.
Uh-huh.
Because I have not met a phantom that could snap his fingers and solve my problems in a day.
Yeah, or with the best quips. Like, you could have had me with that line. Do what I told. Like, oh.
Yeah, I'm like,
wow.
We haven't even gotten to like the first like day of their trials yet, and I'm just already in love with this dude.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, the part that okay, I'm just gonna skip over some of these because I don't know where you're at on your part, so I'm gonna kind of leave some out. But the lust level. My favorite part of this whole fucking book. I mean, I love all the other parts, but like this part is what made me crack up. I laughed and just like, and all at the same time, it had nothing to do with. He wasn't even part of it.
Yeah.
That's what made it even better. So like, okay. So anyways, right before the lust level, they had a conversation about what he could have been before Phantasma, and he was talking about how he could have been a vampire and his favorite color is red, and she was into this. She was into this conversation they had, obviously, because when they went to lust level, she picked a drink that had bloodlust, and so now she's surrounded by vampires and they're drinking blood, whatever. And in this, before she gets seduced fully into it, a fake Blackwell comes and saves her, gives her the antidote, and then tries to like sucker her in and causing her to fail this level. And so in the process of it, she's accidentally saying his name 3 times. Mm-hmm. So she fights off the fake Blackwell, and the new Blackwell comes in, and she's still fighting him, thinking that he's the fake one. Yeah. And that shit cracks me up. And okay, I also have to say it was a very strong tell. I knew immediately that he was fake because he kept calling her sweetheart. Yeah. Instead of calling her angel, which I end up despising later down the road. And personal reasons, I already hated it. But it fit well at the time, so I wasn't hating on it too much. Mm-hmm. But it becomes a problem, like, later. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so obviously, it's not him. He's calling her sweetheart. She realizes it. She fights him. The real Blackwell comes in and then calls her sweetheart, and then she realizes it's him. But he's like, wait a second, though. How? If you didn't know you were calling my name 3 times, why would you have said my... Oh. And then he looks around. He's like, wait a second. Do you know what this level does? He's like... He goes, the trial presents to you an illusion of a person you lust after most, enticing you to give into the theme you choose or keeping you here to the 4th chime. He tells her he's going to try not to be insulted by whatever lame attempt that fake person of him was feeding pleasure. And she's just like, how do you not know it was the most pleasure I've ever had? And he goes... if that was your threshold of pleasure, imagine being worshipped by the real thing. I was like, listen, dude, and you're right. He talks all this big game, but it's like...
Vanilla.
Sir.
Yeah.
You needed to do more. But anyways, his talk was good. His talk was fantastic, and I love that level. Mm-hmm. He uses it against her later down the road, too, which is fucking great. I do enjoy the fact that Blackwell immediately notices that she has OCD issues and intrusive thoughts, and he was there supportive of her, non-judgmental, helping her through it, always making sure she didn't hurt herself, even though she didn't want to indulge in his curiosity for it, like, he was still there very concerned, and it wasn't like a bad thing. He wasn't like demeaning her towards it. He was like, listen, we all have our fucking issues. If you just need help, I'm here for you.
He says, like, sometimes it gets too loud and you need outside help.
Yeah, and I love it. I'm like, I need somebody like that. Yeah. And this also made me feel more in love with him because, like, I need somebody that will do that for me. Because, like, my OCD doesn't, like, come out a lot. I try to keep it in. Now that I'm older, it's easier to control. But, like, god damn, sometimes it's rough. Sometimes it controls you to a point where you're doing stupid shit that has no meaning, and you're getting worked up about it, and the person you're with just doesn't understand. Yeah. And then they get, well, that's fucking stupid. It's like, it's not. I can't function. Yeah. I can't function without doing this. I need to do this. And they try to, and then, like, if you pull that person away from it, oh, it just gets worse. Yeah. If you don't let me sort the fucking dishes the way I want, now you take me out to distract me, I'm not distracted. I'm thinking my whole life is going to go in shambles because I didn't put those goddamn cups away.
Yeah.
So
the exact precise way.
Yeah, and then as soon as I get home, I'm going to put those cups away the same way. And I'm not going to think of anything else. And I'm going to be mad at you because you didn't help me sort those cups.
And in fact, you prolonged the situation because you pulled me away from it.
Yeah, so now you're just hurting me. And so, like, I love the fact that he did not do that to her. He was actually supportive of her. He helped her out, and he did whatever he could do. Also, there was a part that after the Greed trial, and I love this part. She was so worked up, and she just comes to him, and she's like, distract me. I'm shortening this, by the way, but he's like, just distract me. I want to feel good. And he's like, what would make you feel good? And, and he does things to make her feel good. But what he says, he goes, I want to know everything. I want to see all your darkest corners of your mind. I want to taste your sins. And I was like, this is right after the whole OCD thing. Mm-hmm. Because he started to see the OCD during this trial, and he was questioning her. Yeah. So, like, this did not bother him, did not deter him. In fact, he was just like, I want to see it all. Like, lay it bare for me. And I was like, dude. Mm-hmm. And then she was trying to, like, experiment with him sexually. Not really that experimental, but, like, she was asking him, like, is this okay? And he's like, you can do anything you want. I'll let you drag me to the depths of hell right now if that will please you. I was like, man, that's fantastic. I'm in love with that. I love that she killed Eric, how she killed Eric.
Yes.
She trapped him in a position where he could lunge at her, and then she turns invisible, and she kills him by using the saw. So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say one more thing, just to shorten my part. The treachery story. The backstory, the last part where she goes in and she finds out Blackwell is Salem.
It's like Salem something.
Yeah, Salem actress, Salem. Anyways, she finds out the backstory. Well, she doesn't find out the backstory. He remembers who he is because she enters the door, and now everything comes back to Blackwell. And you learn as the reader who Blackwell is, that he's the prince of the devil, the king of the devil's father. He kidnapped and tortured his love, Angel. That's her name, Angel. And fucking kills her in front of him, rips her heart out, sentences him to a lifetime duty of Phantasma until he's fucking satisfied for his punishment, and then takes the soul of his love, Angel, and puts it in a locket that goes to the Grimm line, Ophelia's line. And so that's why Ophelia is the reincarnated angel. But they don't know this.
No.
So I'm going to put that in my hated part. But I do want to say that story in itself is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love that they end up together. I love that she chooses him. He tethers himself to him. I love that. I just hate, there's that part that I hate. And it's that fact that she's reincarnated. He knows nothing about it, and he continues to call her Angel. It would have been one thing if he was calling her Angel unknowingly throughout the trial, but once he got his memory back, should have stopped.
Yeah.
That was in my hated part. I also hated Cade. Fuck that fucking piece of shit. Every time he was on scene, I hated him. I was loving the fact that she finally killed him.
Yeah. It was giving me, from Last House of Gone, that dude Scott. It was giving me Scott vibes the whole time.
100%. I agree. I didn't even put those two together, but yeah. So yeah, I hate the fact that Cade wasn't anywhere in the story. I hated the fact that Angel was a reincarnated, or he was using the name Angel as her pet name, even though his reincarnated lover, he doesn't know that she's his reincarnated lover. I hate that. It bothers me to an nth degree. We'll probably get more into that. And I hated the Sinclair kiss. Hated the Sinclair kiss and fingering. I hated it. Okay, guys? I fucking hated it. I get that it was meant for the story plot, and I do love the fact that it was a setup. I love that. But I don't know how you can love the setup and hate the act itself, because I do. I hate the act itself. It grossed me the fuck out. But I love that it was a setup. I felt like it was a good setup. Mm-hmm. I still hated it, though.
Yeah.
Hated it. I put in here, gross, stop it. Take it back. Don't do it. It's driving me crazy. I'm okay with it. But yeah, so he's a hot dude. Sinclair's hot. It's not like he's ugly. It's just, ugh. But yeah, so those are my favorites and hated.
Those are all great. I second a lot of Kristen's. I do have a couple parts to add to is it? Oh, okay, to the lust room scene. That is a good scene.
I love
My
it.
favorite part of this scene is actually their banter. Because when she realizes that the Blackwell that she was with isn't him, she starts like choking him.
Yeah.
And then the real Blackwell appears while she's choking him, and
Oh yeah.
she's like,
I forgot.
he pops in and says something like, "Oh, is this your attempt at flirting, Angel?" And she's like, "Both my hands are wrapped around your throat." And he's like, "That doesn't make it any clearer."
Oh yeah, because he asked her at one point in another level, do you know if you like being choked?
Mm-hmm. And he's like, "I do." Like, he let her know, "I like being choked." And then so this happens, and then later they go. I think they're out of or they're like walking out of the room together, and he says, "Though for the record, I'd like to let it be known that I am personally rather fond of choking as a method of attack. If you're ever compelled to brawl with me again." It's just like his quips were so good, and this is what I'm talking about. Like this, I don't even think they've done anything together yet, and so this right up front, like his innuendos and his like, "Yo, if you want to choke me, like go on ahead. Yeah, I'm here for it." Like I loved it. Let's see, all the way at the very beginning, I love Genevieve. Genevieve. I love her a lot. I actually can't wait for her book. Because I liked her as a character.
And right off, she's going to be more, too.
Yeah, and right off the bat, she says something that was cracking me up. When, when they're, I don't think they're just having a conversation about this dude that stood her up for this ball, and Ophelia's like, "Oh man, that really sucks. I bet you were devastated," or something like that. She's like, "That's alright. I fucked his best friend on the back of the float for revenge." And at that moment, I was like, I love this girl. Because that was her attitude pretty much like the entire time. These salespeople come by, and she's like, "What the fuck do you want? Why are you here? I'll take this." Like, that was her entire attitude, and I just loved it.
I think her book is going to be better.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I really, really liked her.
I think we'll get what we wanted out of this book.
I hope so. Yeah. Because she's a little bit edgier.
She's fiery, yeah.
She's way fiery, and so I loved her. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about this falling through the ceiling. Oh, okay, here's another one. Oh, okay, so this is also after the lust. I should have just added this to the lust, but that's okay. We're just jumping all over the place. Also after the lust, they're talking about the kiss, and it's that scene where she's saying, "Oh, she felt the most pleasure," blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
He's talking to her, and he's like, "I think in the future it would be objectively beneficial to let me prove to you exactly what it feels like to be kissed by me, just in case such a thing were to ever happen again." And I love her reaction, because she's like, "All right, I'm inclined to believe that this is actually real. Because like, your face might be replicated, but your ego can't." And that's when she says, "What if I had said this is the greatest pleasure I've ever known?"
Yeah.
And he's like, of course says, "Imagine being worshipped for the same thing." Okay. So to go on the same tangent that Kristen said about how he cares about her OCD, he does a great example of this when she's having a freak out after the like dry humping session that went on behind the books.
Yeah.
She's freaking out, and he's or her mind is saying that she was embarrassing, and he happens to pop in while she's like
in her head
tearing her hair out about this, and he makes her feel better. He says all those nice things, but one of the things he does is he tells her to breathe, and she breathes once, and he's like, 2 more times. And she recognized that as him seeing that she needed to do things in like tandem or in like three sets of threes. And I just thought that was like,
he knew, he saw it. He saw her pattern, and I was just like, this is fucking great. I need somebody to see my fucking stupid pattern. Because sometimes when you're in the thick of it, you don't even know. And like sometimes you have to do it, and it takes you a while to even understand. But the fact that he even registered it and acted on it,
and allowed her to be comfortable enough to do it. Like, I know that you need to do it in 3. Like, you saw her for who she is, and you were like, "No, breathe 2 more times for me."
Also, the fact that she has to say his name 3 times, her shadow voice was like purring at that. I was like I was loving it, because I am too. I'm 3s, 5s, and 8s.
Oh, that's
I love
funny.
3, 5s, and 8s. So it's like, if it's not in those 3, 5s, or 8s, I'm like figuring out like the volume has to be on 5s on my TV, on my like, even if I don't like that it's a tad bit higher or a tad bit softer, I have to deal with it because it's got to be on 5. Like,
so funny. Oh, that's funny. Well, now I know when I need to tell Kristen to breathe, I'll give you an increments of 3s.
You'll be my Blackwell.
Yeah, I'll help you through it. It's so funny. It's so funny too because 5 + 3 is 8. So
Yes.
you got a nice little pattern.
Yes, I do
going
have it.
there.
Thank you. I know you.
I see your pattern. I got it. I got you.
You see me?
Oh, so funny. Let's see. Okay, so one other thing that I really like that she says, because I love the FMC, he's keeping a secret about that he learned about her dad. And she gets so mad. They have like a fight about it. But she says to him, I'm not, because he calls her Angel. Like, okay, let me explain one to you, Angel. And she's like, I am not your angel, but I will be your nightmare. If you sabotage my chance of getting my sister back, I will find you and haunt you until every single one of your inner demons looks like me.
And he's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you will not know a minute of peace. Like, I fucking love this. I want to use this next time somebody pisses me off. Like, I hope I'm going to fuck with you until all your demons look like me.
I love it.
You'll never know a minute of peace. All you'll see is my face.
I love it. She's great.
I love that. I loved it. I wish I could have pasted all of the dialogue, but I'm sure you don't want to hear me re-say this dialogue. But just know, like, every back and forth between them, I fucking loved. Every time she was giving it to him, I loved it.
Yep, agreed.
And he was giving it back. I love it.
Their banter was fucking the best.
It was really
I was
good.
here for the banter. It's all about that banter.
Sometimes it is. I'm seconding Kristen's Angel issue. And when I read this, I was so upset because, and this happens at the end of the book.
Yeah.
When you realize, so all this time, I've been swooning, I've been swept off my feet, all to see the backstory of the first girl that he ever loved. Her neighbor's Angel. And now here he's calling, he's calling me Angel. And I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. You're calling me Angel because subconsciously the first fucking... your love, the one that caused all of this, the one that you would have burned the world for, her name was Angel, and that's the nickname you gave me.
And he doesn't know. He doesn't know she's a reincarnated. But we also had the problem with it didn't matter even if she was the reincarnated version of her, because if you are, if you read all these other books where there's a reincarnation thing, they never still refer to their new love as the reincarnated version of them.
Because it's not the same
the same person. I mean, their soul is.
Yes.
But that's not who they are living now. And, you could do that with any kind of thing. I've read a bunch of stuff. Like, there's Inuyasha, Kagome, and what's her fucking name? I don't remember her name. The priestess.
Yeah.
The other priestess.
They're
reincarnated. And Yasha knows that they're two different people because they come back. And then also, I read, I don't want to give too many spoilers on Bespelled, but Bespelled is also another reincarnated thing where he doesn't address her as her reincarnated version. Then there's Fairy Dell. She was reincarnated, 3-4 times? Did not address her. Like, acknowledge that she used to be that person, but when she was one version and another, he respected that she was one person.
Made a point to call her by her specific name every time.
And then when she says, no, I'm no longer this person, I am this person, then he respected her with that name. Even though in their heart, he knew that they still had the same tendencies, they had the same kind of personality quirks. They are still different people.
Yes.
And so the fact that he's referring to her as a pet name as Angel and he continues to do it, I felt like it did a disservice to her previous life as well as who she is now. And it's like, come on, man, your girl might not know. She might not know. And he didn't even tell her that her name was Angel.
No.
How do you think she would feel?
Yes. And the thing that I hated, with all of that, but the additional thing is that I don't generally like the nickname Angel, but for here, I felt like it worked a little bit because we're in this, like, heaven and hell, and he likened her to being the light in all of this darkness, so it made sense for him to admire her so much that he would call her Angel because he viewed her as a savior, as the light in the darkness. It was all very romantic. It was all very poetic. And then at the end, everything was just like shattered. I'm like, no, okay, ew. Now I see why you're calling her Angel. That's fucking gross. And there was
agreed.
There was a book that we read, and I don't care if it's a spoiler because this book is random. What fucking book was it? The Raven.
Oh, Enchanted. See, you can't ask me because I
know.
I don't even have
A Tale of Ravens, Enchantment of Ravens.
Crows?
Enchantment of Ravens, I think it was.
Okay, it was one of those weird books.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in our thing. So.
It is in our thing. And in that book, I was absolutely disgusted because the MMC had a locket of his first love's hair. And I was so upset about that. And this gave me those, I was like, PSP over here. I was like, excuse me? You're calling me your first girl's name? Absolutely not. I was so upset. I could go on and on about how upset this was. But that's why this book has a 4 for me. Because, again, I'm all about the romance. And that's why I was here. And then everything was just soured and like everything crumbled. I was reading this so upset.
Yes, and I was the same way. That's why I gave it a 4.5. And I even contemplated putting it back down to a 4 because of it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking ignore that. Because I'm going to feel like there's going to be some kind of validation in the next book. I'm hoping to God.
Yeah.
So but I'm telling you, if it doesn't, I'm dropping this down to a 4.
Yeah.
I'm coming back. It already is scored on my Goodreads as a 4, but I put it 4.5 in the comments. I will take that fucking shit away. And then I will write a review on it, but then still saying I still love this book. So
Yeah.
I hate that. Because it's mostly because he knows if he still did not know, in his head he didn't know, and he was calling her Angel because it just felt like he knew her soul. Mm-hmm. That's romantic. But like, if you are just calling her Angel, knowing your past, and you don't tell her, and then she's walking around with that stupid pet name, it's pretty fucking horrible.
It is horrible. It just sounds like you're trying to relive with the other girl who is not the same girl. It's not the same girl. I don't care that it's the same soul. It's not the same girl. And also, we were talking about it earlier too. The fact that he's forgetting the name of his first love, the one who was tortured for him.
Yeah. He says he's even forgetting her as a person. Like, he doesn't even remember what she looks like because it's been 500 centuries. I mean, I get that. And that was the whole point. No, I get that he's kind of forgetting.
Yeah, I get it too.
But he still remembers her enough to not sully her memory. You're sullying her memory by using her name as a pet name to your new girlfriend. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine?
After she was tortured for you, she held out for 3 days. She was immortal, and she was being tortured by
the king of devils. Like, I can imagine. I would fucking hunt the motherfucker.
You're using his pet name.
You're using my name as a pet name.
I just can't. I'm mad for her. I'm mad for Ophelia. I'm upset.
Yeah, I hope to God this gets cleared.
Like, better.
But that's the problem is even if he did get cleared, he still doesn't know that's her. He still doesn't know. Like, if he did know, I could kind of see, well, that's still her, you know?
Yeah.
But he didn't confess to her. He didn't know it's her, and he's using it. You don't know, and you are just going off of...
And then, I'm sorry, but wait, also, if I were Ophelia and I learned that, I mean, you know, the whole reason the Phantasma is here is because the prince fell in love with somebody that was ripped apart from him, his true love he would have given everything for, and then you find out that that's the guy you've been in love with. I would be a little scared. I don't know that I would have been like, because you know they go to the epilogue or whatever where she's like they're madly in love with each other, but always in the back of my mind I would be thinking about the girl that caused this in the first place, who she was, where she is, what happened to her. Like, he loved her. That was his true love.
Yeah.
I couldn't live with that. I don't know. Something about this really kills the romance for me. Even though we know, she doesn't know.
She doesn't know. Yeah.
I don't. It's questionable whether or not he knows. Did I see a memory? Did I see a flashback, or he
have his memory?
Does he have these memories back? I don't really know.
I don't either. That's what I'm questioning too. Because if this was just for the reader, so they could know the story, then that's fine. But like at the same time, it's like because he voiced that he doesn't really remember. And if that is the case, I get it. Then I understand that he's, like I said, he's talking to her soul because that's what his soul is saying. But that's not 100% well known. Like, you don't know. You go to the flashback, you go to the actual event that took place. I don't even say it was a memory. You go to the event that it took place in. You find out that that's what happened. Because it just says 500 centuries ago or something like that. But you don't know if he remembers that. You don't know if when you go back into the door, that memory is like into him. You don't know. But he does state, I don't remember much. But it's like, what does he remember? Does he remember enough? Does he remember her name? Because if he doesn't say in the next goddamn book that he didn't remember her name, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah.
If he says, oh, I do remember her name was Angel, then I'm going to be like, 4 fucking stars, dude.
Yeah.
He better say, I didn't know. I didn't remember her name. I couldn't remember. All I remember is her soul. I could remember her soul. I could remember who she was and what she was to me, but I couldn't remember anything else. Like, there has to be some validation. Like, please.
That still drives me crazy that he doesn't remember. But, like, okay, fine. It's been 500 centuries, whatever. But still,
I think that was part of the curse.
Is that he doesn't, that he loses his memory.
Yeah,
because that is what the king said.
Yeah, so it is part of the curse, and that's why I'm willing to accept it.
Yeah, but if it's true love, if this is mated bait, it's not. But I'm just saying.
I think, well, the thing is that's what the king said. The only way he'll remember her is through the soul.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm saying all these things, because it was stated in that portion that he's going to forget her as a whole, but he'll still remember her soul. So that's why we have to do it so long.
Yes.
Because the only way he'll remember is that he'll recognize her soul. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that he speaks to her at a level of a soul that he does not remember. So I'm hoping that that's what the next book tells me. That he forgot, he doesn't remember her name, and then when he finds out that her name was Angel, he's like, oh, that's why I've been calling you Angel, because my soul connected with you. It better fucking be.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll accept that. I'm still giving this a 4.
But she better storytell it right.
You soured everything that I was enjoying about this.
Yeah, because right now I feel the same as you.
But also, I will say, which I didn't mention in my likes, but I do kind of like this and just kind of want to throw it in there. At the very end, when he's not begging to be tethered, he's just telling her, like, you have an option to be tethered to me. But I like that he says to her that, like, you can tether with me and you'll keep me here on this plane, but we don't have to be together.
You can still live your life.
You can still live your... I love that. Yeah. And I know this is not the story, but I was like, ooh, I would love a story where they, like, had a falling out and they're both living eternal lives away from each other, but, like, still love each other. We got this enemies to lovers situation with them.
Or even if...
I'd love that.
Even if your story played out where she was kind of upset. She's like, I'll tether you, but I feel like I'm not your first love. I feel like there's... Like, she was kind of bitter about the first love thing and then went on her own way. And then in the epilogue, they met up at, like, some kind of restaurant or something like that. Yeah. And then they fell in love that way. Or they kind of got to know each other. Because I feel like they did need time apart. I felt like that instant, like, I forgive you right away kind of was a little bit too much for me. Mm-hmm. I felt like she needed time apart. And I felt like maybe that's what I wanted the epilogue to be. I'm not mad at the epilogue, though. I do kind of like the epilogue still where Genevieve goes off because it's meant to be for the next book. Yeah. So, and this is kind of toted as a standalone anyway. So I get why they did it this way. But I felt like they needed time apart for her to kind of go into her mindset about what happened for that ending.
I agree. And because it was a week. And I mean, to be fair, they were also saying, or she was actually saying, like, well, it's only been a week, but, like, this is how I feel. So it does feel a little bit like insta love if you're going off of the fact that they've only been together for a week. So I could see that. I would have liked some time apart. In fact, I would really like to see these two banter back and forth as enemies to lovers. Because they never really crossed that threshold. They maybe had some arguments, but the banter with these two would have been even better had we had some sort of conflict that lasted a little bit longer. And that brings me to the final thing that I want to talk about, which is the Sinclair incident, which you sort of brought up and touched on. I fucking love this scene. It's not my favorite part, but I like that she did it because I know Kristen hates it.
Yeah, I absolutely hate it.
I fucking love it. This is why I love it. I love Ophelia because the Sinclair incident happens right after he's deciding to put some space between them.
Yeah, I hated that too, by the way.
Yeah, he's like, well, we'll just be business partners from now on. She's like, oh, business partners? Yeah. And then this sultry other demon comes in and he's like, I'll show you what's up. And she's like, okay, let's see. Show me. And he also was...
He did it right, though. He did it with permission. I'm not saying what happened was forced by any means. Not that's what gave me the ick. What gave me the ick is she agreed to it.
Yeah, she agreed. And not just a kiss. She
allowed him to touch her. She said, kiss me, touch me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he even stopped a few times and then asked, like, hey, do you still want me to do this? And she said she agreed. So, and then the minute she said no, he stopped. So it was all consensual. It wasn't bad. Uh-huh. Even the act itself wasn't gross. I just felt like she was betraying her actual feelings. And not necessarily even betraying Blackwell. I feel like she was betraying herself.
Oh, for sure. But I like that
she was doing it in anger.
She was doing it in anger. She was hurt. Because, now he wants to fucking be business partners.
Agreed, though. I fucking hated that. I hated Blackwell in that moment. I was like, fuck you, dude. I probably would, you know what? I'm not going to argue. I probably would have done the same shit. I don't know if I would have let him touch me, though. I don't think I would have went that far.
No, I think... I was actually surprised she went that far, but that's kind of why I liked it. Because it would have played it too safe to have just made out with him, been like, oh, I don't get the same passion. But she's like, okay, the kiss wasn't enough, but maybe, like, do something sexual and let's see if it takes me to the next level. And she's like, I could get there, but
it's not what I want.
There's no, like, passion behind this. And that's what she was like, nah, okay, I'm good. I tried it. I like that she tried it. Like, that's what I like. But anyways, so I just wanted to talk about that because that was funny because we were so different on that. And to bounce off of that, I love that he was so upset afterwards.
Oh, I did agree with that. Like, I love that he was upset.
Paid off.
He needed to be upset.
He needed.
Fuck you for being you.
Oh, you want to be business partners? Yeah. Okay, well then I can fuck who I want. That's what she said to him. Yeah. She's like, I can fuck anybody. What is it to you? And of course, that's when he's like, I don't want anybody making you make that face of pleasure that you show me. Like,
Yeah,
he said all the right things. He was jealous in the perfect way.
Yeah, because he was angry in her room. She's like, oh, she even forgot about it. This bitch forgot. And she's like, what are you doing here? And then when he was all angry, she's like, oh, yeah.
And it's because she didn't call him for the trial either, which I also liked. Like, this girl was like, I can stand on my own 2 feet without your fucking nonsense.
I loved how she reacted. I just hate Sinclair.
No, I see it. I get it.
I I would have been fine with her doing it with Jasper, honestly.
Oh, it was just because. But see,
it had to be Sinclair.
It had to be Sinclair.
I agree.
But I understand why it's gross because of course Sinclair would have went and rubbed it in his face, and that's what makes it gross because you're allowing the enemy of the guy you like to be able to go and taunt him.
Also, the reason why is after reading it, because I read this twice. I knew who Sinclair was the whole time. Sinclair is the one who betrayed Blackwell into torturing Angel. So, girl, your reincarnated self would have hate you for allowing him to do what he did to you. So I was grossed out even more so the second time around.
That makes sense.
But the first time I was just like, ick. This time I'm just like, oh, that's fucking gross. This piece of shit is the reason why you were tortured and fucking killed in your previous life, and now he's fucking all over you.
Yeah.
I was not liking that.
That makes sense.
I do have to say I love the love curse of the game. The love curse was toted into this because of the whole reason why Blackwell was in this position in the first place. He chose his love over his father, and now you're cursed. And the curse is crazy. Like, that's why Ophelia's mom and dad were the way they were, because they were cursed, because they fell in love. And then Lucy, like, she got to see it real time too, because Lucy was in love with, is his name Leon?
Yeah.
I just called him Leon. I
think it was Leon, yeah.
But Lucy and Leon Lucy fell in love with Leon. Leon didn't fall in love with her, so you got to see that.
That was sad.
Yeah, but at the very end, he was sobbing, so I think he did have feelings for her. It wasn't as intense. So, but that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that. I was like, oh, I like where this is going. So it showed that. And then Ophelia ended up being cursed. And I wish the curse still was a part of it. And they had to find a way to take off the curse. But then it would have made it a duology. She would have had to do it. But that would have been another explanation for why they had to be apart.
But I loved that she said it. Like, he was trying so hard to, like, don't say it. And she's like, no, I'm going to say it. Because, like...
That's kind of why I wanted the curse to prolong just a little bit. Yeah. So they had to be separated until he found a way to break the curse. And I was hoping Genevieve would find it. But, the ending was great. Like, I don't know how I would have felt if they really went that way, because I would have felt like I needed a second book. But we didn't really need a second book on them.
No.
Genevieve's story, I think, is going to be better anyways.
Yeah, I'm excited for Genevieve's.
Yeah.
And that doesn't come out until Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we're still a little bit away from it, but... Overall, yeah, I thought this was a great book. It had some little issues, but overall, like, a 4 and a 5 or a 4 and a 4.5 is pretty solid.
Yeah.
And we're full too. Like, this isn't desperate. This wasn't, we've been in a slump.
We've been reading good books.
We've been reading good books.
Yeah.
And this was another one of those good books. We're doing great. We're on a streak.
Yes, because after this one is Enchantra, which I'm hoping is going to be good. I feel like it is. And then after this is Leave Me Behind, and I've already read that book.
Yeah, I'm excited for that book.
I cannot wait for you to read that book. Ooh-wee.
I'm excited. All I had to see was the cover, and I bought the book. I don't usually buy the books. Right behind you. Yeah, and Kristen sent it to me. The white cover is the best one. This is the paper cover, but the actual book cover. I was like, I don't even care if the book's good or bad. I'm just going to display the cover.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So that's the lineup. If you would like to join us for these books, our reading and review schedule is down below.
Yeah.
So make sure to follow that. Make sure to read Enchantra.
Yes.
And see us here next episode.
Yes. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can follow along with us.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.